Hello everyone, welcome to the second video of this video series on TicTacToe. In this video, we are going to make a computer AI to actually play with us human. Now in the previous video, we wrote a multiplayer TicTacToe game and I discovered that there was a point in my code where I was supposed to return false, where I wrote a function define is valid. So I just wrote false instead of returning false. But fortunately for us, we didn't actually test this part of the code, so we didn't actually encounter any error in the previous video. So if you were following with coding, you can actually change that in your code. So in today's video, we are just going to make at least a smart AI that can play the TicTacToe game with us. So I'll be importing random from the Python standard library. So I'll import random. It's a built-in library from Python. I'm going to be creating a function, create it below this one. I'm going to call it computer move. Just like the way we created a prompt for the player to make his move, we are going to create a function for the computer to make their move. So we are going to pass in the board and the player. So we are going to pass here. Now the computer needs to know the available moves on the board before it can actually make his choice. It's not like humans that have idea of the position and knows and sees the board and actually knows what to play. But we know humans make mistakes and can actually play wrong moves. And then we try to tell the human that this is an invalid move. But for the case of the computer, we will not tell it that it's an invalid move. We just give it the available positions in the game and you just choose from one of the positions. Just try to play the move that makes it to win. So with that, we create a function. We call this available positions. Or let me see, available moves. So I'm going to take in the board since we are just checking the available moves in the board. Now we wrote a previous function called isTie. So this function actually have everything we need. So we just copy and paste it here. We're just going to change this 0, just passing I and J. What this is doing is looping through the board and appending the positions that are still equal to 0. So what we are going to do now, we are going to return the positions. So now, okay, we can update this function now. Let's just copy this function name here and pass it here. So now, okay, our available move is ready, so we can tell the computer to choose from one of those available moves. So Python random module has a very nice function called random method called random.choice. So we are going to store our move. Okay, let's get the available moves first. We are going to call the function, then pass in the board. Now we are going to tell the computer to make its choice. Then we say random dot. We are going to say random.choice. It's going to choose one position out of all of them randomly. So we are going to pass in moves. So once the computer has made its choice, we are going to make the move. We are going to make move, then we'll pass in the board, the player, the move, then the player. So we are going to do next, we are going to return the board, because that's exactly what we are doing when we created the prompt player. We return the board after there was a successful play. So now we come down here, we are going to create a dictionary. I'm going to call it switch turn. So I'm going to have the key of 1, that is player 1. I'm going to call the function computer move. I'm not going to call it here, I'm just going to reference it now, then I'll call it when we need the function. So I'm going to also pass in prompt player. So in place of this board player, prompt player, this line, we are going to pass in this dictionary, then we call each of the function based on the player's turn. So that's what we are going to do now. We are going to write switch turn, then we pass in player, then we are going to call the function with board and the player. Now it's important that your function should actually carry the same parameters initially, so that there won't be a conflict for you to be able to call them dynamically using a dictionary. So this is a way you can call your functions dynamically with dictionary. Now, so we can test this out. Let's see if we have any errors initially. Let me clear the screen. So now Python .py. So now the computer has made its move. So let's try to make a move to the first square. The computer made another move. Let's see if the computer can win us. Let's make to the second box. Sorry, okay, the computer is not yet smart. So now let's keep on trying. Let's play to the last square. Oh, the computer is missing its position. So let's just make the game end in a draw. 1. So I'm going to play at 1-0. Okay, yeah, the computer actually won because there was a diagonal X there. No matter what I've played, the computer has still won. Okay, now let's try to make a smart AI to play against us. So how do we go about that? So now we already have a function called winner. So we are going to make use of this function. So we are going to actually check for winning positions. So now we are going to define a function called possible winning. So possible winning. So I'm going to pass in the board. The board and the player. So now what we are going to do, for us to know a winning position, we have to create a copy of the board. Now the reason why we are creating a copy of the board is that if we just if we use the board that we already have, if we start checking different positions, the computer will start inserting its letters there. So the game, it will affect our own board. So when we make a copy of the board, the computer will be able to use its own virtual board to play the game first before it then plays the right move that it seems that it's winning for it. So I'm going to create a variable new board. So I'm going to say board dot copy. So now I'm going to check for all available positions in my new board that I copied. So all available moves, I'm going to store it in move. So available moves, I'm going to pass in my new board. So I'm going to loop through my board for move in moves. So I'm going to make the move into the new board, then passing the move, then the player. So after we have made our move, we have to check if there's a winner in the new board. So we then check if winner, the new board, that's what we are going to pass in here, is not equals to none. So if it's not equals to none, we are going to return the move. It means that move was what made us to win. Now when we run this for loop, we can see that the computer is actually inserting a move every time the for loop is running. So we are still making use of the same board. So what we want to do now, after you have inserted this first move, for you to go over the next move you want to check on the board, you have to undo the move, your previous move. So we come up here, we just create a function, let's say undo move. So we call it move, then okay, we are not going to pass in player. So we are just going to copy this stuff that is here, almost similar. So what we are going to do now, we are going to set the new board to 0, like the previous position. For us to undo it, we have to take it back to 0. So where our function is, we are going to undo the move, and we'll pass in the new board, move, the new board, and the move. So I think that will be all for that function. So now we are going to be checking now inside our computer move. We are going to check both for player 1 and player 2. I'm going to check for the computer player first, because when the computer has a move that makes it to win, it's important to play that move first instead of blocking for your opponent. So I'm going to check for the computer move first. So I'm going to create a variable called computer move. So I'm going to call this function on it, possible winnings. So if there's a possible winning move, so the computer will actually play it. So this function is going to return none, or is going to return the move. So we are going to check now if comp move is not equals to none. We are going to make the move. We are going to make the move. We are going to make the move into the board. Let's pass in board first. Then we pass in the computer move. Then we pass in the player. So here, yes, okay. Let me correct this first. So here we are supposed to pass in player to it. So let's copy this stuff. We are going to check now for our opponent. So if there is a position for our opponent, so for us to get our opponent, we just have to multiply by -1. So if there's a position for our opponent, so we are still going to make that move there. So now I think that will be all. So we are returning board. So now, okay, we have to return, because when we are done with this, we don't want this function, this other part of the function to run. So we have to return from here. We have to return the board. So this other part of the code will still be needed here, because in case if there's no winning position, the computer can actually make a move. So now let's run the code. Let's clear the screen. So the computer has made it move. So let's play at the first mark. The computer made that move. So let's play at 1, then 0. Let's see if the computer is going to win. The computer blocked us, so let's check the reason for that. This is interesting. So we are checking if the computer move is this, make the move. I've really gone through the code and I noticed that there's nothing actually wrong with it, but it seems I've tested it over and over again. It seems the computer actually blocks when it sees a position that is trying to be a winning for its opponent, but actually plays its win when it sees a position that wants to win. So let's try to test the code again. So let me open my terminal. Let me clear the screen. So let me call the function. Let me codify so the computer played there. Let's play at the middle. So let's play at 1, then 0. Let's see if the computer tries. Okay, for some reason the computer did not try to block for us. Now I think the AI is actually working fine. I don't know, for some reason the code was not actually working as planned before, but I tried to check the code. It seems to be fine. Yeah, if you like the video, you can subscribe and share it to other people. Yeah, it really helped my video to get to a lot of people and also help my channel. Thanks for watching.